Koji here again from Celestial Rhythms. So yeah, just in a couple days from now, as I'm recording this, the 2nd actually today of July, and on the 5th of July, Earth will be at Aphelion, little typo here, which means it's at the farthest distance from the Sun in a year. And if you haven't, I suggest you first listen to my earlier recording, the one I did before this one. Anyway, I will go a little bit deeper now into how this will affect the American nation in particular. Here I have the midpoint chart between that moment as cast for Greenwich, for Washington DC, I should say, for the American nation's capital, and the nation's birth chart, which is this one here, which I'm using, which is the one by rectified by Dane Rudyard, which is one of many charts used for the American nation, but in my opinion is the one which reflects the best what we now see coming to a flowering, that new approach to a new society altogether, something from ground up different. If we go back to the 18th century, this was a revolutionary step in the right direction, and it's just about coming to fruition, to full circle, if you want, to maturity or whatnot. So this is the base chart, and now I want to show you a few really exciting little synchronicities. So if we look here, this chart has a midheaven of 2 degrees and 12 minutes of Libra, and when we go into the midpoint chart, that's pretty much the degree which is rising here, with the moon tightly conjunct the ascendant. So in simple words, this says the moon will be here exactly at the center of the chart, at the midheaven, this midpoint moon, and so will be the ascendant. The ascendant is the theme again we are seeing here, and the moon in a nation's chart is the people. So the people are calling the shots. That's what it means now. In the next 6 months, we will see this transition of people coming into power. There are, this is a very strong placement, and it is not surprising that this is showing up at this time in history. Mercury is really strong, as we saw in my earlier presentation. I just beam back here quickly for those of you who have missed this. This is Earth at Aphelion as seen in Greenwich, Mercury at midheaven, and this is as seen from Washington DC, and here it is between the moon and the ascendant Mercury, again the moon, so if you do the midpoint chart, this is pretty close here. Again, I want to remind you the Grand Cross we have here in this transit chart of July the 5th, when that will be the case, that Earth is exactly farthest away from the Sun. Now if we look at the midpoint chart here, you see again the 22nd degree of Sag this time, and Neptune up here, 22 degrees and something in Gemini. Again we have that same combination of energies, and here in the midpoint of the two we have Eris at 21. That is the American nation's Arrochot, and that is also transit Neptune. So there's lots of stuff going on in the same angle, and this is at 23 degrees Hygeia and BNR. That would imply, again, the free spirit, a revolutionary kind of free and exuberant, expansive, strong man, but then there is Hygeia. Hygeia is health and well-being. This is interesting, as this shows in this same cross again. It's kind of that struggle, fight between health, the whole health system, and the Neptune Mercury here, and is that play of deceptions and of different agendas. Aries is the one who brings all the conflicts in the open, says, okay, let's look at this closer, let's really bring this battle into the into the center of the stage, throwing the apple of discord. Yes, let's unravel that whole package and look at it from all sides. This is even more important, this particular combination of BNR and Hygeia, of health and strength and mental power, as this is the Greenwich ascendant, you see, 2313. So that is a global theme in that sense, which will be fought out in the Americas, in the American nation most likely. So that's where it all is rippling out from, I would say. Also that here, the equatorial point here with the moon, again, that yes, everybody is watching, the whole planet is watching at the edge of their seats what's going on in the United States. Interesting also that this degree here, the third degree of Cancer, that is the American nation's Venus, 3 degrees 06. And then, as you see, and some of you might already have had some thoughts about that, as the American nation was founded on 4th of July, which is very close to those days when, as we have this year again, it will be July the 5th, and Earth will be farthest away from the Sun. So this is a powerful point in the year as such, as it's, as we said, it's a predictive moment which lays the ground for a longer period of evolution, a reset point, that the American nation was founded on that day. This idea planted solidly in the ground, in that sense, on 4th of July, shows the greater synchronicity, that it gives this whole idea of aiming toward a new Earth, a new rebirth, much more, gives it much more kind of weight. I guess that's what I want to say. So this chart here, Okay, let me see what else I want to point out. Right, the black moon here, again, which is kind of the shadow point, the collective shadow here in the midpoint, is quite exactly connecting with the American nation's Mercury here at 2411. So that's another indication that it's time to look at the shadow, to kind of wrap our minds around all that dark information which is just about getting seriously spilled into the open. I mean, it has been there the whole time, but now evidence is coming in and it's becoming unquestionable. It's becoming just very strong, undeniable. Let's see what else I had here, which I wanted to shed some light on. Okay, so this is the midpoint again, and here is the Sun at 1338 Capricorn. That is back in 1899, time-space midpoint between these two. And then, 1338 Capricorn, and if we go to the event chart, it's 3037 Cancer, in a perfect opposition here to this midpoint Sun. So it's this again shows that this is a particular synchronicity which says this will strongly manifest, show itself through the dynamics in the United States. Also here the equatorial point at 3 degrees Cancer, again that's the event chart, and if we go into the midpoint, this brings it up to the midheaven here in the midpoints, which again is another way of saying what happens in America will be seen all around the planet, and Venus is here too. So it's about Venus, about bringing back harmony and peace. This I also found interesting here in this midpoint chart, for what's going to be planted for the next 6 months into January 2022 in the American nation. There is a Juno-Chiron conjunction here, and that are the two asteroids and which are opposing one another in the nation's basic chart. Just to go here once more. See, Chiron and Juno. I talk about that a bit more in my earlier episode here, just the one before that, saying how critically important this is, that this is also what was activated in many charts last year. This has been an ongoing struggle to bring the nation together to overcome this intentional division, that wound which had been planted right through the heart of the American nation, dividing everyone. So that is kind of what will be one of the highlights in this next phase, to heal that, to bring that together. And Elatus is here. Elatus is very gifted centaur, of very gifted to express itself, to phrase its thoughts and its observations. So it seems Elatus is here coming in as a mediator, helping to bring the two sides together. Then there's this grand trine, Venus-Uranus. That's beautiful. That's kind of it starts to get exciting. It starts to get really interesting, and it's here with Mars, a trine with Mars, new creation. And in fire signs, that is inspiration and enthusiasm. However, here is also the planet Setna, which means it's to bring all the dark stuff into an integration with that. To Setna stands for disclosure and the deep and dark mysteries, strange and the unusual, the alien worlds. Vertex here, the higher dimensional kind of meeting point with the world. So it's kind of the, one could say, the activator. The activator will be Setna, and Setna also is in a T-square here with the nodes. And the North Node, this is another interesting one, is conjunct the American nations Eris. If we go quickly to that, then you see 808, that is natal Eris here. Eris again is bringing the conflict into the open and let it play out. There are many more things if one would spend a little more time looking deeper into this chart, but I will leave it at this. And yes, look forward. And my next one I'm doing will be a review of the last 6 months to show you how amazingly this resonates with what has been going on, kind of making my case of that approach, that these 2 moments when the sun is closest to Earth, January 1st till 3rd, every year a bit different, and the moment when Earth is farthest away from the sun, that these are 2 reset points which can be used as predictive starting points, showing where things are going, as I showed in my 2001 video, that showing that irrefutable connection between the July 4th and the September 11 event, which came about 10 weeks after. Okay, so thanks again for listening, and hope you're all well and you're doing great. This information is meant to help. It shows you that everything in a way is divinely synchronized and planned, that all there is to it here is to live it and to fill it with our life energy, to bring consciousness into it. And as we are doing this, coming all together, our energies are increasing. We are bringing the frequencies higher. Higher possibilities are coming in. We are definitely in the most amazing juncture in time. Okay, thank you. Talk to you soon.